Hey everyone, this is Max from Paris, and I'm going to show you my Season 27 build that is so much fun to play. You just freeze everything inside, and then they die. How could that not be fun? Plus, it's an all-rounder build. You can farm T16, bounties, mats with it. You can do some Paragon leveling. It'll do a GR100 in 2 minutes, and you can solo push as well. In 4-player games, it does so much crowd control that my friends love it when I play this build with them. So the build is based on the Season 27 Corpse Explosion Golem power that gives you a permanent uptime on Land of the Dead without even using it. For that you're going to need Moribund Gauntlets so that your Golem sheds a corpse every second, as well as Grasps of Essence so as to get that godly damage bonus on Corpse Explosion. So I'm going to explain this build in 4 parts. Part 1, how to deal damage. Part 2, how to CC everything. Third part is going to be how to move at the speed of light. And the last part is how to get the best defense. And the best thing is, all of these interact perfectly with each other. Let's start by showing you how this build deals damage. First off, if you max out your essence, you'll maximize Relina's damage buff. So on your secondary stats, you'll need to get 20 essence on the weapon, 20 on the offhand, and 18 on your Stone of Jordan. The Overwhelming Essence passive will give you 40, your Paragon points 50, and the Haunted Visions amulet will double all of that, which brings us to a total of 696 points of essence, which Relina transforms into a 348% damage multiplier. Second, you're going to need Triangle's Corroded Fang to get the 200% damage multiplier on cursed enemies. To curse enemies, I use 2 curses. The Frailty Aura, because I'm basically lazy, that'll curse everything just around you, and the Decrepify Enfeeblement rune to make sure that everything gets cursed. The Spreading Malediction passive benefits from this. Next, a Convention of Elements will give you a 50% damage multiplier, and even though this is a cold build, I don't look at the rotation, I just blast away. Finally, Prisbin's Sentence will give you a 300% damage boost on crowd-controlled enemies. Now let's move on to crowd control. How do you CC your enemies? This helm gives you a 40% chance to blind on hit. Bane of the Traps aura slows enemies by 30%. Z's Stone of Vengeance gives you a 20% chance to stun on hit. Lost Time slows enemies by 30%. And is procced by the Corpse Explosion Dead Cold rune. Decrepify's Enfeeblement rune roots everything to the ground. So everything is CC'd all the time, and your damage multipliers are active all the time as well. How to become the fastest Necro on Earth. For that to happen, you're going to need the Fueled by Death passive for the 30% increase to your movement speed. But to actually move, you're going to use Blood Rush coupled with Steward's Greaves that will double your movement speed. And lastly, Lost Time will in turn give you a 50% movement speed increase. All that makes you move so fast it's uncanny. So now that we've seen how damage is dealt, how everything gets CC'd, and how you become the Flash Necro, it's time we figured out how to stay alive. Here goes for defense. You get a 50% damage reduction if your essence isn't full with Razit's Volition, and another 50% damage reduction just as long as you stay above 90% essence with the armor. So for these two to work together, you need to use just a little bit of essence all the time. What you need to do is use Decrepify once in a while to ensure that happens. See? Next up, we have Dainty's Binding, which guarantees another 50% damage reduction, just as long as there is an enemy afflicted by any one of our curses. And as we've seen before, Frailty and Decrepify ensure that they stay cursed all the time. Next up, we have Golem Skin Breaches, which guarantees a 30% damage reduction just as long as your golem stays alive. And for this build to work, the golem needs to be alive at all times, so you basically get 30% damage reduction all the time. The bracers will ensure some added damage reduction for each stunned enemy. It's Zay's Stone of Vengeance that guarantees that some of the enemies will be stunned, hence ensuring that damage reduction. And last but not least, you need the standalone passive to significantly boost your survivability chances. This being a cold build, you'll need 20% cold skill damage on the amulet, the bracers, and your Stone of Jordan. And for those of you who prefer offense to defense, you can swap out your pants for Blackthorn's pants for the added 20% cold skill damage. So this is a really cheap build. I'm at 897 Paragon, which is quite low. I have literally 0 augments on my equipment. See? And I have 2 items that are not even ancient. My follower has only crap on him. So, this build can only get better in time. Let's take her out for a spin, shall we? So you start by simulacrum, decrepify, and then you just start blasting away. See how those blues just got vaporized? And everything else gets vaporized. And it feels so powerful. It reminds me of my Diablo 1 days. Better not.
This world can abide you no longer.
See how I rooted that one? That was cool. When you root yellows to the ground,
Embraces you.
feels so good.
The grave beckons.
There you go.